Our March-April issue is packed full of great features, including our pet section. From pet-friendly businesses to canine heroes, we love learning more about the furry friends in your lives. In this positively fun segment, we're chatting with one of the amazing folks over at the Roanoke Valley SPCA. Julie Rickmond is the Marketing and Communications Director of this very important organization, and we're excited to dive into the world of animal rescue, furry friendship, and endless love. Hi, Julie. Thank you so much for coming on our show today.
Thanks for having us.
So happy to have you here. And thanks very much to Taco, who is joining us as an adoptable dog. I don't know if you can see him in our YouTube video. You might be able to hear him panting in the background as he explores the room a little bit. So, and with the hope, of course, this is our April episode, and we're recording a little bit ahead of time, but I'd love to know more about Taco and why he's so very special as a rescue adoptable.
Yeah, so he actually just became available, and we're hoping to find him a home soon. He does have some issues, so it might take him a little bit longer, but I really think with his personality, that's going to shine through and find someone who really wants to be his best friend.
He has so much personality. Oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time. Like, I swear I'm going to pay attention to you, but when there's a dog in the studio, it's really hard to not just enjoy that. And see, now if you're on the YouTube video, he's jumping in the chair just for you, wearing his little bow tie.
Oh. He's trying so hard.
No, that's okay. He's excited to be here. He's going to be Roanoke famous before we know it.
Absolutely.
So, in thinking about SPCA, I'd really love to share more about this organization. It's so important. We've rescued 3 animals in my life, previously. Right. And so I want to talk about the mission and the goals of the organization and how that serves the local community and, of course, the pets that you're helping.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Roanoke Valley SPCA is, we're not affiliated with any other organization. Mm-hmm. A lot of people associate us with the ASPCA. We have no affiliation with them. The SPCA was a very popular acronym back in the day. Mm-hmm. So we were actually founded in 1916. We're over 100 years old. And our mission today is to be a community resource that provides pet adoption, retention, and education services in Virginia's Blue Ridge. So that really encompasses kind of all that we do. And we're here we'd like to say we want to be a first resource, not a last resort. Mm. So we want to be here for folks who may be having problems keeping their pets in their home. And we're not here to take pets from you. We really want to help keep pets in their loving homes. I'm sure we're going to talk today about a variety of programs that we offer to help do that.
Yeah, and just so you know, like Julie, you do so much. Like I see you on TV all the time and promoting the animals in the organization. And so you just listed like 3 things that there are so many more facets to what you're talking about. And so I really am excited to dig in and learn more about that. And so, talking about some of the common challenges or issues facing the pets in the Roanoke Valley area, I'm curious about how you as the organization address those issues or challenges.
Yeah, so one of the things that we see with our shelter is pets coming into our shelter, about 50% or more of the cases are due to behavior reasons. So that's, we know, is a big problem in our area. We're also finding lots of hesitation with adopting larger dogs. I think that is due to several different reasons, but I think the housing issues that we see in our community with apartments restricting breeds, restricting sizing, HOAs doing the same thing, and then, of course, just the lack of housing. Also, we wonder if perhaps...
Sorry, he's exploring.
Yes, he's just getting into all the things.
I love it. He's not going to hurt a thing in this place.
Perfect. So, I think with COVID, also veterinary clinics were shut down or slowed down. Right. I know, had to send our PPE to frontline workers during COVID. So our spay neuters slowed down and people probably couldn't get very many appointments. So we've seen an influx of puppies over the last year or so. So many puppies.
And I think puppies they get adopted pretty quickly.
They do.
Not to assume, but.
Yes, they do. But even today we're seeing a little bit longer length of stay for puppies. And by longer, I mean maybe 2-3 days, maybe 4 days longer. We are seeing that, but definitely behavior is an issue. And that's why we actually started our behavior assistance program. We partner with local area trainers. We partner with Dr. Megan Maxwell. She's a certified applied animal behaviorist. So we want to partner with these folks who use positive reinforcement, so that we can help prevent pets from coming into the shelter. And what we liked for is if people ask us for assistance at the first sign they notice something, that's when we want to talk to you. Cool. We want to talk to you before it gets to a point where it's not manageable.
Right.
It may be just a really simple fix. It might be like, my cat's using the bathroom out of the litter box. Why is this? Well, maybe we can work with trying to find different types of litter or something like that. Or maybe it's, my dog is kind of growling at me now when I feed her. What can we do to work with that? We don't want it to escalate.
Right.
So the first sign that something is going on, let us know at that first sign. We don't want to have to bring your pet into a shelter. Let's work with you in your home and take care of these issues so you can keep your pet. That's ultimately.
And as a pet owner, that's what we want, right?
Exactly.
Like, it's not that we don't want the animal or pet in our house. It's that we're not sure how to handle that. But I as a dog mom, dog lover, self-proclaimed dog lover on all my bios, it's that's really important to know that there's resources out there that you can go to before it gets to a point where you don't think you can handle it anymore.
Yes. So we as long as you qualify, we pay for that training essentially.
That's great.
And then if we have dogs in the shelter who we know have particular issues or have had particular issues in the past, we will actually send them out into their adoptive home with that training so that they already know, like, hey, we offer this puppy kindergarten class for you because we know this little guy's a little mouthy right now.
Right. As all puppies have shark teeth. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
No, that's great. Oh man, he's in the chair right now. You guys got to look at the YouTube video. He's so cute. I love him. So Taco, he's 60 pounds of just love, and he's got so much personality. He just wanders in and makes himself at home. I love it. It's great. Oh, you're getting kisses. I love it so much. Yeah,
he's going to talk.
This whole episode's just, we got a new co-host up here. Hi, buddy. Oh my gosh,
he did. He sat in your chair earlier.
He did.
Taking over the microphone.
Sorry, the Roanoker From Print podcast has got a new host. His name's Taco, and he's 60 pounds of fuzz and delight. So, well, and thinking about. So over COVID, over the pandemic, so I know that when our 14-year-old dog passed away, and we really struggled we went for like a solid 8 or 10 weeks before, 4 to 6 before we decided we were open to the possibility of bringing a new pet into our home. Right. But it took a long time, it felt like to me, to adopt because so many people were rushing out to give these animals homes, which is really cool. Yes. And I know some of that has obviously slowed down just for the sheer sake of people going back to work and things like that.
Right.
But in terms of like the pandemic, do you see any rollover from that or people that are, still asking questions about that kind of stuff?
Well, certainly we pivoted during the pandemic to appointments, and we have not changed back because what we discovered during the pandemic was that appointment-based adoptions worked so much better for these guys.
Right.
They have an opportunity to... That's him.
Well, that's him on the...
That's him, right.
You're officially on the podcast, buddy.
So during the pandemic, we actually transitioned to appointments. And prior to that, we had offered walkthroughs. But what we found out was people walking through the shelter was pets couldn't get rest during the day. And, people coming through all the time. The dogs were barking all the time.
Stressful, super stressful.
It was very stressful. Stress was very much heightened. And so that was a really good thing for us that came out of the pandemic, that we were able to then pivot to these appointments.
I think that's really interesting because obviously by appointment now, I think that's critical, again, for the animal's sanity. It's such a stressful situation, an unfamiliar environment.
Yes.
So it is really important that they're not seeing people walk past them all the time or like a fish in a fishbowl, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. And that's, I always tell people that it doesn't matter if their home was 1,000,000 times better than the shelter or 1,000,000 times worse. They have lost everything that they know. Yeah. They've lost all the people that they know. They've lost their daily routine. They knew where furniture was in the house. Mm-hmm. So for Taco, who's partly blind, he has to relearn where everything is.
Right.
There's new sights, there's new smells, there's new sounds, there's dogs barking,
yeah.
There's cats making noise. So that is a trauma in itself, that you've lost everything that you know and now have to come into this strange world. So we're asking a lot of the pets in the shelter, and it's, only we just want to help make their stay a little bit easier.
Of course.
So we are a fear-free certified shelter, and we practice fear-free policies. Everybody in our shelter is fear-free certified. And that's one of the ways that we can be more fear-free is just by operating on appointments. So that has definitely been a good thing that came out of COVID.
Absolutely. It's about the positive and not the negative reaction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. But certainly, like I said, we have seen that we have so many more puppies in the shelter within this last year. And so many shelters are reaching out to find help because they're saying, we're full. We have all these puppies. Please, another shelter, take them. Well, we can't if we're completely full too.
Right.
And that's a heartbreaking thing to see. And I do wonder if that has to do with limited spay-neuter appointments available during COVID. I don't know for sure, but...
Right, because we're on year 4 now already. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this, how like 4 years ago,
Right.
But still, I mean, that's something that we need to think about all the time in terms of taking care of our animals and making sure we're not contributing to that overpopulation.
Absolutely. And it's just healthier for them. They have less risk of cancers, testicular cancer, ovarian cancer, and it's just definitely healthier. It keeps them healthier.
Yeah. My dog's going to live forever, so I want to make sure.
Exactly, right? That's what I keep saying about my dog,
right.
too.
My dog's, definitely going to live forever. Henry's immortal. That is what it is.
Right.
So I come to the shelter, made my appointment. I see a dog I got to know more about. I want to think about adoption. What does that adoption process look like for somebody walking into your organization?
So when you come into our shelter, and once you've made your appointment, and we do accept walk-ins on a case-by-case basis. It's if we have the capacity essentially to handle a walk-in, if we have the staff to do it, if there's pets available, and also if we have the room to do it, because we have a very small shelter and very limited space for meet and greets. But if you've made your appointment, you come in for your appointment, you are looking for, a companion animal, what we'll essentially do is our adoption counselors will have a conversation with you. And that's really where everything begins. It's not to be invasive, but we want to get to know a little bit more about your lifestyle so that we can match you. And I always say, meet your match. So we can match you with a pet that fits in with your lifestyle.
Because I might see a dog on your website that I'm like, that's the dog. I know that's the dog for me. And then turns out the dog wants to hike all the time. And that's not really what I'm about. So,
exactly. Right.
Totally.
Yeah. We don't want to, give.
Or you need a fence or whatever, other little things like that.
Yes. A puppy might not be for you if you're going to work for 10, 12 hours a day. And this puppy is going to have to learn potty training and go out, every couple hours. So you'll come in, we'll have that conversation with you. We'll talk about what you're looking for, what your expectations are, what your lifestyle is like. And then we typically recommend a couple pets, 2 or 3 pets. We can go through the process of meeting them, see how you connect with them. And then you can adopt that day if you think that that's a good fit for you.
Yeah.
We do have some dogs that require maybe 2 or 3 or 4 meet and greet sessions, or maybe multiple meet and greets because you have a dog at home that needs to also meet this dog.
Well, and that was my next question. So as a small dog owner who might be looking at a sibling at some point in the future, what does that process look like if you already have pets at home? And cats too. I mean, you got to make sure that they can all get along.
Absolutely. And we do offer that 30-day refund because we don't test our dogs with cats because it really wouldn't be very fear-free for the cats. So we do not do that. Poor kitties. So if we know the circumstances that they came from, if we know that they were in a home with cats previously, we will pass that information along. If we have seen in our shelter, we have a dog who very much targets small animals.
Yeah, probably not the dog for... Yeah.
Right. So when she's out on walks, she's very, very interested in squirrels.
Yeah.
We used to walk her by, you could see some of the cats in the window. We don't do that now because she was really excited about them, much too excited about them.
Yeah.
So those kind of observations, of course, we will let you know about.
Right,
and we often, if we see them, make disclosures for those.
Yeah.
So Taco has a disclosure for his vision. Some of them have a disclosure for a high prey drive. So we definitely want to let you know about all of those things as well.
Right.
If we know them.
Yeah.
Again, we don't test with cats, but we can let you know what we know. And you can take the pet home if you decide to adopt. You can take them home for 30 days. And then if it doesn't work out, you can always bring them back within the 30 days and have the full refund.
But of course, have lots of patience.
Definitely have lots of patience. We talk about the 333 guidelines or the 333 rule. It's not going to be for every single pet because some are going to take longer, some are going to take less time to adapt. But essentially, it's 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. In the first 3 days, when you take a pet home from a shelter, from adopting from anywhere, you might see that they don't want to eat, that they hide, they're not coming out, and just behaviors that they're like, I'm still trying to figure out where I'm at.
Like you said, they've been through some trauma, regardless of what that looks like. It's still a new place.
Yes.
I don't even like parking in a new space. Like I can't imagine, poor guy. Like
right, like you're in this whole new home.
Right.
And sometimes even with cats, especially, we'll say start off in just one room because sometimes opening up the entire house to them is just overwhelming.
Much, yeah.
It's just too much. They're just going to find like a hidey hole.
Yeah.
So in the first 3 days, like I said, they may not even eat. They might not come out and show themselves at all. So by 3 weeks, though, we would expect them to be trying to come out, trying to learn the new routine, a little bit more social, but you still might not see their real personality. You might not see them shining through as much. And then in the first 3 months, we would expect more of their personalities to start shining through. So they're really getting into the routine of things now. They're socializing more. They're eating regularly, going out to potty regularly. And again, this is not a set in stone for every single pet, but the idea is that it takes time.
Right. And routine is pretty key. I mean, so I'm not a cat owner, but I assume some of that is very similar. But for dogs especially, it's routine. I hear it's the same with children, but can't speak from personal experience. So.
I can't either. I can't speak to cats. Yes, they are the same. They love to have their set feeding schedule. The 333 guideline is just that it takes a while.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, I mean, once again, like I gotta like look up maps and menu items if I'm going to a new restaurant. Like I can't just walk in and do it. Like,
no,
it's crazy.
It's too much pressure.
Way too much pressure. I study the menu before I go anywhere. Like it doesn't even matter. Cool. So so we've talked about a little bit of adoption. That's super helpful. Really informational. I love that you have a chance to kind of one-on-one interview with your staff before you even get in there, because I think it is key that you're matched up with the pet that's appropriate for you, not just because you thought it was a cute dog on the internet. Like, that's really important.
And that's one of the things during the meet and greet too. As we have that conversation, also during the meet and greet, our staff will definitely let you know too about signs that they see. Is this connection working? And we always recommend bringing all of your household members, including the dogs. So if there are other dogs in the facility, in your house, bring them to the meet and greet if you're meeting a dog companion, just to make sure that everything goes according to.
And I would assume, I mean, again, you've got a lot going on with if you have a dog at home and you're bringing him in to meet your new guy or whatever, your new brother or sister, like if they don't get along at first, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to get along completely.
No, and that's one of those times where sometimes we do multiple meet and greets. We've had very, very shy dogs. We had a dog that came to us from an ASPCA transport, essentially. We will partner with them for transports. This dog in particular came from a case where there was 150 plus dogs and cats, but mostly dogs in a single mobile home.
Oh, wow.
Dogs, puppies, and cats. And so with this dog, only 10 months old, he had been in a behavior rehab facility for several months before coming to us, but was still very, very shy and, obviously still suffering from some of that trauma. So with his adopter, we had several meet and greets. And then, any case like that, we are able to even do multiple meet and greets with the other pets in the home, or just getting to know the adopter, because sometimes it's not a love connection on the very first meeting. Yeah. It takes that time, especially for these shy guys and cats too, to build that bond and feel
they don't know you. I mean,
exactly, to feel safe with someone.
You do a lot more than just adoption services.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. I want to talk about programs, initiatives. This is not only to support pet owners, but also, of course, the pets themselves.
Absolutely. So our goal, like I said, is we really want to keep pets with their people in those loving homes. It's not to, we don't want to take pets into the shelter if we don't have to. The shelter is a scary place. We know that. The shelter is a good option for certain pets. So I worked with a gentleman who had stage 4 lung cancer. He could no longer take care of himself, let alone his pet.
I think, sorry to interrupt, but I think that's key. This is not about people who just don't want to have a pet anymore. Like, there are so many reasons why you're in this situation, why you have to deal with this.
Yes. And that's, as the marketing and communications director, I really want to make sure, and I take pride in the fact that we keep our communications very positive. Even when we had a scenario where we had a dog dumped, it was a puppy dumped in our front yard, essentially. We had the people on camera who did it. We don't know their situation.
Right.
They got that dog. It would have been more ideal if they got the dog inside the shelter. She had 2 broken legs. It was very, very unfortunate. However, they got the dog as far as they could, I think. It was not, and we were able to kind of play back the video and watch. It was definitely not an easy decision. It seemed very, very heartbreaking. And we don't know what was going on in that situation. It could have been a domestic abuse situation. Right. We just don't know. Right. So we're not going to take and broadcast these people and say, look what they did. They dumped this dog. Now, we also do need to raise money for the puppy because it was quite extensive medical care that was beyond our capabilities in the shelter. So we talk about her and we talk about this is what she needs now. But we want people to feel safe coming to us, that we're inclusive, that we include our entire community, not just certain people in our community.
Super important.
And that we want you to feel welcome coming into the shelter and asking for help. Again, at that first sign that you need it, because that's really what we're here to do. So we offer a variety of programs. We talked a little bit about the Behavior Assistance Fund. We have an extraordinary vet cost fund. It's called the CARE Fund. Companion Animal Relief Fund is what it stands for. That is I had a case where a dog broke her leg and it was going to be a $2,000 fix. Well, $2,000, I mean, that's expensive for me.
Yeah, that's not something I just have laying around on a dresser table or whatever.
I have a full-time job, but that would be a blow to me for sure. We just want to make sure that we can help out. So we have a vet fund that helps with extraordinary vet costs. We have the Behavior Assistance Fund for those behavioral needs. Pet deposit assistance. If the only reason that you can't take your pet to your new apartment or whatever is because you can't pay that pet deposit, we have funding for that.
Wow. Yes. That's really amazing.
For fencing, for dog houses, if you need a collar and a leash, we can provide lots and lots of different things. Even if we don't have it listed on our website, call us. Maybe we can do something. Maybe we can figure out a solution so that you can keep your pet. The vast majority of people, it is heartbreaking to relinquish their pet, and they do not want to.
Right.
It's not a situation where we feel like people should be judged, because you never know until you're in that person's situation what you're going to do. We all fall on hard times. It's understandable. So like I said, we just want to be here to help in those situations, keep those people and pets together. That's really, really important to us, and not to shame people at all. Again, we want to be inclusive. We want to be welcoming and just make you feel safe. And that's our tagline, a safe shelter. Yeah. That's not just for pets. That's for people too.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I don't know if it's you or a staffer, but you guys have great social media, because I especially love when you make up the stories behind somebody, like being the Hollywood starlet or whatever. Like, I love the creativity that goes into the social media posts and making sure that you're not only kind of explaining some of the things that have happened to this animal or their needs, but also their personality and like how they're getting along. Like, I love that. So you're not only showcasing the animal's personality, but you're also explaining to viewers or listeners like why they should come in and meet this dog, or why they should support a campaign or a program or something. That is so amazing. I had no idea. Like, I knew obviously SPCA is far more than just adoption, but like, what an amazing thing for you to be able to help a person who just can't afford the housing fee, but obviously wants to keep their pet with them.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a great thing that they want to keep their pets.
So like great.
They don't belong in shelters. And so we have a rehoming gallery. So if you do have to rehome your pet, it's free. As long as they're spayed or neutered, we can put them up on there for free. We advertise the pet needs a new home, but the pet stays with you and you facilitate the adoption. That way you have control of where your pet goes to, who your pet goes to. And then if they aren't spayed or neutered already, we have an assistance fund for that too. We have a free transport every month that we take pets up to Mountain View Humane, get them spayed or neutered. All of those programs to help keep people and pets together. So our care fund, our behavior assistance fund, pet deposit assistance, the rehoming gallery, and then we also have a great humane education department where we go out and visit assisted living facilities, senior centers with some of our adoption ambassadors, and they can, some of the seniors in our local area get to spend time with a loving pet and that they may not be able to in the facility that they're living in.
I think it's really cool. And you guys are really, you promote adoptions obviously throughout the valley. But I see you everywhere. You're not just at the pet stores, but you're at Berglund Center and you're at the mall and like all these different parking lots. And
yes. And we have more events coming up this year.
Cool.
We've been partnering with some really great organizations. We just did actually an adoption event at Hamron's Auto. So that was a new one for us. We are going to be back with Subaru. Subaru loves pets. So lots of places that we can get the word out about how amazing shelter pets are.
And not just where the pets are, but you're also doing fundraisers like Spaghetti. The ball.
Yes. So we have our Best in Show is coming up.
Nice.
That's April 25th. And then May 11th, we have a brand new gala. It is Pause to Applause. We're celebrating our 20th year in our current building.
Love it.
Yes. So we're very, very excited. Tickets are on sale. Folks can go to our website, our events page, and find out all the details about those events.
Listeners, we will link those events and upcoming things, especially in April, but we'll link those on the bottom of our video here on our website and make sure that you guys don't miss out on some great ways to support the SPCA, not just an adoption.
Right.
Because I'm going to take Taco home if y'all don't hurry up.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So, and lastly, before we wrap up, because I know that Taco's got a very important schedule, but in terms of, is there maybe a heartwarming or memorable story about a pet that's been rescued or rehabilitated through the RVSPCA?
Oh, there's so many.
You probably have 100, yeah.
There's tons, but there's one that really resonates with me because I loved him so much, and it's a story of Boss. Boss came to us.
I know Boss. Okay.
Yes. So I love Boss as well. He came to us and spent about 3 years with us. So he had pretty severe stranger danger, is what we like to say.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. He was very, very fearful of new people. So we had to spend quite a bit of time and letting him meet someone for the first time. And again, that was one of the ones where we had to have him meet people over and over and over and over before he was finally adopted. In fact, he was fostered a couple times before he was eventually adopted. But we just, a pet is with us until they're adopted. So unless there's an extreme medical case or an extreme behavior case, we never euthanize for space in our shelter. We have had puppies with parvo, kittens with panleukopenia, pets with cancer that we have had to euthanize because of those really, their quality of life had diminished so that they're just not going to make it, unfortunately. That does happen. It's pretty rare. But otherwise a pet's with us until they get adopted. So with Boss's case, if he knew you, he loved you. And, I loved him very, very much. He would actually, I could lay down on the ground and he would lay across my stomach and I could just sleep on the floor with him. Yeah. He just wanted to be on you and love you and kind of a little bit like Taco, just goofy. And, he was fantastic. But to see him adopted into a loving home after about 3 years was, I miss him, but I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And I remember seeing his story and like just how, you really had to make sure that he found the right home.
Absolutely. And it really came down to a very special person, too, who wanted to take the time to do that. And we are so thankful to the amazing adopters that we have, the fosters that we have. That's another way that people can help out, fostering, volunteering. We have phenomenal fosters, volunteers, adopters who really put in that time. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be around.
Yeah. And for those listeners who might be thinking about volunteering, what are some of those options? Because it's not just coming in every day and cleaning out kennels, although that's super important.
Yes, that is very important, and that is something that we offer. But we also offer cat enrichment, dog enrichment, where you basically come in and take dogs for walks or play with them. Same with the cats. You don't take them for walks, but you play with them. So those options. But we do have a really amazing cat condo cleaning crew. So folks come in the mornings and clean the cat condos for us. We've got folks that answer the front desk for us. Sometimes we have people come in and stuff mailers for us to send out in our fundraising efforts. We have people who, we were short-staffed this week and we put out an urgent plea and people came in and swept and mopped and did laundry for us.
I love that. It's not, there's so many little facets and pieces that can be done to help out. That's really
cool. And we have amazing volunteer photographers who come in. We really have, I have to give them a shout out because I work with them some, but they are phenomenal. They come in and do our glamour shots of the pets. And so they're a great, great group too. It's phenomenal, the amount of people and the quality of people that come out and help. It's just amazing.
And finally, of course, in addition to being there in person and volunteering and adopting and fostering, but you also have monetary donations. So I know you have an Amazon wish list, so that way we can check and see what you're really in dire need of, or maybe just things that are constant, ongoing needs.
Absolutely. And really what we need right now is we need a new roof and we need a new HVAC system. And these are really pricey options things that we need. So it's actually the roof leaking, we've repaired and repaired and repaired. We have to have a new one. It is impacting our quality of care, or our capacity of care, I should say. We have a dog run that we can't use, and we only have 11 big dog runs anyways. We can't use one of our big dog runs because it leaks when it rains. We can't have a dog in there getting wet. Right. So we really, really need a new roof and a new HVAC system. Those are two big, big priorities for us right now. So donating helps for sure. Donating helps go to pets' medical care. We have an amazing veterinarian and veterinary staff, but we only have the capacity to do so much. We don't have an x-ray machine. We don't have an ultrasound. We can't do dentals in-house. So we have to send those out, pets that need those services out to other veterinarians in the community. And thank goodness for an amazing vet community we have here that help out. But, these things are costly. So donating can help out in so many ways. We do have those wish lists, like you said, Amazon, Chewy, our general wish list. You can donate toilet paper.
I know we're kind of chuckling about it, but that's critical.
Absolutely. Every bit helps. Whatever we don't have to pay for goes back to those pets and to help them.
And that's really key. Yeah. And to that same, so going back to adoptions and thinking about it, because Taco's just such a love. I just want him to hang out all day.
Right.
And so in thinking about, I've heard, for example, black cats are the hardest to get adopted because of, I guess superstitions, I don't know, or pit bulls because of the assumption that is made about them. And so I'm kind of curious from your perspective, how do you combat that? How do you prove... Look at him. That dog is not vicious. No. He's been asleep on this table for 45 minutes.
Right. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that's the thing. If we can educate folks, first of all, we talk a lot about breed identity and breed DNA. It is really, really hard. And even the professionals mostly get it wrong trying to identify the breed of a dog, but just by looking at them. The only way you can truly do it, is by getting a DNA test.
Right.
So first of all, pitties are so often mislabeled. And
they're just big old goofball hearts.
And they are. They're so sweet. I kind of wish people could just come and spend time in the shelter and see what we see, because, like him, he's just a love bug.
I know. Well, like you said, Boss just wanted to hang out all over you,
And he was just scared. That's all it was. He was just scared. Right. So that's what we see with most of our guys. If there is any kind of a behavior, issue that pops up, it's usually because they're scared of something, they're fearful.
Right.
Maybe they've had some trauma, maybe they're underweight and they weren't fed enough and they're just real hungry. We've had that, so.
Been there,
right? You get a little hangry.
Yeah, get a little hangry. Yeah, it's good to know dogs get hangry too, don't you, buddy?
Absolutely.
With a name like Taco.
So, once we find out what triggers them, then we just work to address that. And usually once we find it out, usually it's a pretty simple thing that we can and all of us try and reinforce that while we're at the shelter too.
Yeah. So lots of patience, lots of love.
Yes, absolutely.
Lots of giving them the time that they need to adjust to whatever new lifestyle they got going on, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, I'm going to hang out all day. Taco can just stay here with me. So I hope that's okay. But anyway, thank you, Julie, so much for coming on to From Print podcast, and we're going to hang out on the couch with Taco now. So
thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for, I mean, it's so educational. I'm so happy to have an organization like RVSPCA in our region. Like, it's so critical, the work that you do.
Thank
and
you.
I know that listeners and readers really value every step of the way. And of course, listeners, please go to our website. I'm going to list all the things that we've talked about in terms of events and adoptions and monetary donations. I think that's super valuable. We got to help you guys get a new roof. So that's critical.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you to Julie. Thank you to Taco for being on here. You can learn more about the RVSPCA, including how to adopt, volunteer, donate, and so much more at rvspca.org. And of course, don't miss our Fun Pets feature in our latest issue on newsstands now, or head on over to theroanoker.com.